Just that from Belgium, Global Affairs Analyst Nweke. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Nweke.
A pleasure to be with you.
Let's start with the telecommunication structure, which is the concern, the major concern of the Red Chamber. Though you're in the diaspora, I know you, I believe, and I'm optimistic that you come home every once in a while. So do you agree that the structure is not just quite there yet for diaspora voting?
No, I don't believe. And I think that the excuse hinged on telecommunication infrastructure is a rather infantile excuse. Let me base this on facts on the ground. As you pointed out, I am in diaspora, and so I should be in a position to make a certain critical comparison with, the diaspora, between diaspora and Nigeria as far as infrastructure is concerned. It may interest you to know that Nigeria has one of the best banking, online, real-time banking facilities in the world, a situation where you make a transfer from two different banks and the next minute, the transfer is gone through and you get your alert. Out here in Central Europe at least, that is not the case. It takes an average of 2 days for transfers between banks to happen. That is possible because Nigeria has a very good IT infrastructure that powers it. Now, Nigeria was able to successfully set up what they call BVN. That BVN works perfectly well, and I do not know what Nigerian government excuse is if they could compel banks to institute BVN and it's working perfectly well. If they could get people to sign up for e-passport, which captures people's data and so on and so forth, I wonder why they are coming up with these excuses. Now, let me tell you why they are coming up with these excuses. They are coming up with these excuses because somewhere, somehow, people are concerned that Nigerians in diaspora might be in a position to tilt the Nigerian elections to a particular position that may not be in their best interest. Be any other reason that they are afraid of seeing diaspora voting to the real conclusion.
I'm glad you talked about Nigeria's banking facilities, and which also popped up in some of my interactions with the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, their concern is that not all Nigerians make use of banking facilities, particularly Nigerians in the rural areas who do not have a bank account, do not have an ATM card, do not make use of a phone. And their fear is that they are the ones who actually vote and they may be disenfranchised. How valid is this fear?
That fear is 101% invalid. And the reason is very simple. When you come up with new policy initiatives, it doesn't go from day one to day two and it becomes perfect. Nigeria has been talking about the cashless society, and incrementally, year after year, Nigeria is making progress in regards to cashless society, where people are giving up the ideas of carrying huge sums of money and resorting to using bank facilities. Now, it is not something that is going to happen overnight. Through the right government policy, which indeed it is this same government that is supposed to put those policies in place, through incentives, through collaborations with banks and other stakeholders, it is something that will, over time, become the reality of the day, just like it is here, in Central Europe, where cashless society is real, not because it happened overnight, but because the government put up the right policy and pursued those right policies with the right incentives and working with the right partners together with the right information campaign, and then it begins to filter into every home so people see what is in it for them. So you see, I don't know where this is going to stop. And I think the government should simply stop with manufacturing excuses, looking for excuses to begin to justify why they are slow in stopping this idea of disenfranchising Nigerians in diaspora, who represent a huge chunk of revenue to Nigeria, supporting the Nigeria economy, and indeed, they have set up the Nigerian Diaspora Commission. The whole idea is to see that they maximize the benefit that the diaspora bring to Nigeria. Now, isn't it a disconnect or some sort of a contradiction that the necessary tools needed to be able to see a well-functioning diaspora commission that actually, reaps the benefit of the diaspora is being, stood down by all sorts of, silly.
Of course, there are so many sides to this concern for diaspora voting. We must leave it there for now. Collins Nweke, Global Affairs Analyst, talking to us from Belgium.